Hello all, my name is Ifene Adewa Ifene and welcome to this video. Today we'll be talking about if statements in R programming. We'll see the various forms of if statements, if else, if else, and nested if else. Now, an if statement is a statement that allows you to create a decision-making program. Now, a decision-making program runs one block of code under a condition and another block of code under different conditions. Now, the syntax for a simple if statement is first if, the keyword if, and in a bracket you write the condition there, then the body of the code. Let's take an example now. We want to check if the number 3 is a positive number or a negative number. If we assign x the value 3 and give the condition if x is greater than 0, we print the number is positive. When we run this code, if this condition is true, then it will run this code. But if the condition is false, then this line of code is completely ignored. I'll give an example right now. For example, now let's say x is equal to 3. Once we run this code, we get right here you can see the number is positive. But if we change the value of x here to -3 or -3 and run the code, nothing happens because it completely excludes this whole line of code right here. Now let's go to if else statements. If else statement, we can also use the else statement with an if statement. Now, for example, okay, just here is the syntax. If the condition, the body of the statement, else you do something else. So if a condition is true, we run the code. If the condition is false, we will run a different code. Let's show an example here. We can use this example. Say if someone is eligible to vote or not. Let's age as 15. We first check if the person's age is greater than 18. If the age is greater than 18, then the person will be eligible to vote. Else, the person cannot vote. Or also, we can also use to check if a number is positive or negative. So if a number is greater than 0, it will print that the number is positive. Else, if a number is less than, else it will print the number is negative. You can see this right. You can see this right here in the example. If age, we have assigned 15 to age, and if age in the program, if age is greater than 18, then you can put you are eligible to vote, else you cannot vote. Here we have assigned aged 15, so it is less than 18. So once we run this code, it will show you cannot vote right here. But if we change the value here to, let's say, 22 and run this same code, it shows you are eligible to vote. Now we'll move on to if else statements. Now, if you want to test more than one condition, you can use the optional else if statement along with your if and else statements. Now, the syntax is, for example, you want to test. You can also use to test if you want a number is positive, negative, or equal to 0. Now, this is the syntax. If a condition is check the condition. If it is true, it will run the code. Else, if another condition, let's say condition 2, is true, it will run the code. And if both conditions are false, it will run this code under the else block. You can see here the code to check if a number is positive, negative, or equal to 0. Here we have assigned Here we have assigned 0 to x. Now, if x is greater than 0, it will put x is a positive number. And if x is less than 0, it will put x is a negative number, else x equal to 0. So here we have assigned 0 to x. So once you run this code, it's going to show x is 0. Now we can modify this code and make it 5. And once you run our code again, show x is a positive number. The same thing, we can change it to negative 5, and we shall see that x is a negative number. We can also use this to check if a number is even or odd. We just need to check this change this condition statement, and that is it. Now the nested if else. Now you use nested if else statements inside if else blocks. We use this when we want to check a condition inside another condition. For example, let's say you want to check if a number is positive. Now, if x is greater than 0, inside that same bracket, you can check if x is even or odd. So it goes like this: f is greater than 0, curly brackets, and if the module of x is equal to 0, then x is a positive number, else x is an even number, else x is a positive number. And so now the program will first check this first condition. If this condition is false, it is going to ignore this whole other code and move on to the next. But if this first condition is true, it will follow up and run check the other conditions. Let's just show an example right here. Now we'll first check if x is greater than 0. If x, well, here we'll set x to 20. So since x is 20 is greater than 0, it will use this code. Now to check if the modulus of x of 2 and x is 0. If it is 0, then you say x is a positive even number, else x is a positive odd number. Now let's just run the code and test it out. You can see x is a positive even number. We can also change this to 21. Now x is greater than 0, which makes it a positive number. But when you run this code, it does not equal to 0. So when we run our code, it shows x is a positive odd number. The same thing happens when we change this to a negative number. Let's make this negative 20 instead and run our code. We show x is a negative even number. We can still change it and make it a negative 21. And once we run our code, it will show x is a negative odd number. Yeah, so that's it for this if statements in R programming. I hope this was helpful and we're able to understand. Thank you.